What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority. I am your host, the highly favored, highly humble, mixed with a little bit of amazingness, man. I am Desmond Bonet. I know how I am when I'm by myself, not too long-winded. Let's get to the topic, and while we all here, man. Accountability. Let me, enunciate every, you understand? Accountability. One of the hard, in my opinion, I'm not an expert, one of the hardest things to do in a lot of human beings' lives. For a lot of people, it's very easy to identify flaws, identify problems, always see what's wrong with someone else and point it out. They'll tell you about yourself. They'll scold you. That same person, 9 times out of 10, has the hardest time standing in front of the mirror and identifying things within themselves. Not because they can't. It's just, who wants to see something wrong with themselves? Who wants to walk around knowing that, I really do this, or I did that, or I do this on a daily basis, or this is how I am. No one wants to see themselves as anything negative. We all have a vision of ourselves. We all have a idea of what we would like others to see within ourselves. But we never take accountability for something that may be negatively affecting others, but caused by you. Now, one of the examples I could go into, because it's 2020. It's a whole new generation. It's a whole new different outlook when it comes to dating and relationships. But accountability has always been one of the top problems. Whether it's comes up in arguments, or situations get blown out of proportion because someone's not taking accountability, and vice versa. So to have it all make sense and come in place with having a healthy mental space, any solution to any problem has to start off with accountability. What is accountability? Not just, being responsible or taking responsibility, but it's also identifying, right? If you're an alcoholic, you go to an AA meeting. I never physically been to one, but from what I've seen in, TV or whatever, they start off by saying, "Hi, my name is such and such. I am an addict," right? You're taking responsibility. You're owning up, and you're also making a public identification of what's considered wrong. So you can't fix anything if you don't know what you're fixing, right? So if you wake up every day and you say, I want to think positively all the time. You pray, whatever faith you in, you pray to your Most High, and you ask for whatever you ask for. You think for whatever you thank Him for, and it's always in well wishes of wanting better, which is not a problem at all. Nothing wrong with that, not one bit. But if you're constantly asking for that, or constantly, trying to work at heading in that direction without dealing with that beginner mark, which is accountability, taking responsibility, identifying. So if you want to wake up every day and think positively, first off, you have to work on identifying why is it that you can't really think positively? What's causing you to only think negatively? And once you identify that, you have to come to terms with it. You have to be in a space of acceptance. Take accountability. You're taking responsibility. Once it's identified, you own up to it and take that responsibility. Now the process of the actual solution starts now. It's finally in play. And the solution would be the healing factor. But in order to heal, you have to understand and accept what you're healing from. So it's no different from the mental space. If you have a 9 to 5, right? Perfect analogy, right? If you have a 9 to 5, you're good at your job, right? But your attitude is just, it's not on par with, but your attitude is just not on par with how you perform your work. You know, every time someone sees your work, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. But every time that person meets you, the man or woman behind the work is like, you really made this? Like, now someone else can just be like, you know, oh, whatever, you know, it is what it is, pay attention to my work, blah, 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 this, and that. But someone who's going to take accountability, own up, and take responsibility is going to identify that, yes, I do not have the best attitude. And then from that point, it's up to you to figure out and work on the solution. Now, I understand a lot of people is not, you know, even after accountability, which is the first step, which is, in my opinion, the most important step. But I do understand that after, you know, after getting over that hump of the first step, a lot of people still struggle with continuing on. Some people just be like, oh, so that's the problem. And then that's it. Nothing is done to solve the problem. It's just now you know what the problem is, or you accept that, yeah, there is a problem. And a lot of people is cool with that. And, you know, not everyone is on the same mental level as far as being in a place to want to get better, whether that be mentally, because, you know, this is a mental health series, but just in any aspect of life, you know, everyone has to be in a space of readiness that can be ready for anything. So I do understand that point. But for those who conquer that first step and continue to conquer each step after that, once you know what the problem is, you accept it and you know that that's what's there, then it'll turn from that first example to the person being like, all right, you know what? My attitude is a little shitty. Let me do X, Y, and Z. Let me get myself right. Let me even try to sit down and maybe talk to someone and see if there's any hidden issues that I might not even know about as to, you know, why my attitude isn't the greatest. You understand? So accountability is super, super important, and it lifts a lot of weight on your shoulders. I spoke about just accountability in, you know, one small form of just taking responsibility, but taking accountability in, we can start small. I know people who have argued and have not talked for 10 years after that argument, right? Because no one wants to take accountability, both are blaming each other, both are stubborn, whatever the reason is. 10-year break, 10 years. 10 years. It's a long time. We're in 2020 right now. Think about this. 10 years. Now, imagine if whoever was wrong in that situation, after I'll say a week. After a week, said, I'll give it a week. After a week, approaches the other person and, look, I was wrong. That escalated. Whatever. I apologize. Imagine how many conversations would have happened after that. Instead of not speaking to each other over an argument for 10 years. So even with that, you it's kind of like lifting a burden. It's kind of like just lifting weight off your shoulders. The more you take responsibility for everything that involves you, meaning from your living space to your mental space to your outside environment to your everyday aura, to your energy, the way you move, your mannerisms, the way you talk. Accountability is also a big step in becoming self-aware and just knowing. And knowing is a big part. The minute you're self-aware and you're just 100% in tune with you, it feels comforting. It feels a lot different. It feels way better than always feeling like something is constantly on your shoulder, always feeling like something is constantly on your back. And just like I stated in the beginning of this video, accountability is one of the hardest things for a lot of human beings. No one wants to stand in front of the mirror and notice anything negative, or take responsibility for anything that had a negative effect. The minute you're able to stand in front of the mirror and notice every single aspect of you, that's the first step to properly healing from whatever it is you need to heal from. But most importantly, it's the first step to a healthier mental, man. Hopefully I explained that, correctly, and I wasn't too all over the place. But just like always, man, I am Desmond Bonet. This was The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority, guys. I appreciate y'all, man. Until next week, I'll be back in the building. You hear me? Oh, there y'all go. I almost forgot, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this thing, man. Appreciate y'all.